The night was heavy with silence. In the heart of the village stood the mighty Iroko tree. Beneath it lay the sacrifice the villagers believed would bring them prosperity. A life was offered to the gods, but they did not know whose life it truly was. Hours passed. The drums had stopped. The torches had gone out. One by one, the villagers returned to their homes, satisfied that the ritual had been completed. But deep in the night, a lone woman walked slowly toward the sacred tree. It was Mr. Onabisi's wife. Her footsteps were hesitant, as if her heart already feared what her eyes had not yet seen. Then she saw him. The man lying beneath the great tree, the man the village had offered as a sacrifice, was her husband, Mr. Onabisi, the richest man in the town, the man respected by every villager, the man everyone once honored. Her knees weakened. Some villagers who had not yet slept heard the sound of her grief and rushed toward the tree. When they saw her crying, they asked gently, "Woman, why are you crying like this?" Through tears that refused to stop, she pointed to the body and said, "This is my husband." The words struck the air like thunder. Silence fell over the people. In dark clouds gathered above the village, and suddenly, the rain began to fall. The villagers stood frozen, guilt creeping into their hearts. They tried to console her, but the rain kept falling as if the heavens themselves were weeping for Mr. Onabisi. The women around her tried to console her, but their words meant nothing. She stared at the lifeless body of Mr. Onabisi. Something inside her broke. Slowly she rose to her feet. Her eyes were empty. Her face carried a silence deeper than grief. Without saying a word, she turned away from the people and began to walk. She just kept walking. The villagers called after her, but she did not answer. She just kept walking until she reached the forbidden river of the village. A river no one dared to cross. For generations, the villagers believed that anyone who crossed the river would never return. Without fear, she stepped into the water under the rain and she continued moving forward. Painfully, she crossed to the other side, and for the first time in the history of the village, someone entered the land beyond the river. When she stepped onto the land, it was as if something inside her mind disappeared completely. Her past was gone, like a dream washed away by the rain. From that day on, she wandered through the bush like a lost spirit, living alone among the trees and wild sounds of the forest. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months, and all this time she did not know that life was growing inside her. She was pregnant. Her stomach slowly grew as the months passed, but her mind remained lost in the shadows of grief. One day, as the sun rose gently through the tall trees, she set out into the forest to gather firewood. The bush was silent. As she walked deeper into the forest, something unusual caught her eyes. An old hut. It stood alone in the middle of the bush, abandoned, quiet, and covered with creeping plants. The roof was broken in places, and the woman stared at it with surprise. She had lived in the bush for months, yet she had never seen this hut before. Slowly, she moved closer. She thought this could be a place to stay, a shelter from the cold nights and the rain, or maybe there might be something useful inside. With tired steps, she pushed the door open and walked into the hut. But the moment she stepped inside, a sudden pain struck her. Her body trembled. The time had come. Her cries echoed through the silent forest, and after moments of struggle, a baby boy was born. Alone with no family, no village, no one to help her, she gave birth to a child. But the woman who had carried him through grief, through madness, and through the lonely wilderness had no strength left. As the newborn cried, the woman took her final breath. Her journey had ended, but the child's journey had only just begun. Unknown to the world, that hut was not truly abandoned. Hidden within the shadows of the forest lived a mysterious and powerful woman. At the very moment the child was born, it was as if she had already known. Slowly, the door of the hut creaked open again. The mysterious woman stepped out from the darkness. She looked at the child quietly, as if recognizing something special about him. Then she bent down, gently lifted the crying baby into her arms, and held him close. From that moment on, the boy who was born in sorrow in the deepest part of the forest grew under the care of a woman whose powers the world did not understand. And that was the beginning of the legend of the child of the forest.